Guys, don't question the narrative, okay? Just don't question the narrative, right? Just shut up and take what the media is feeding you, okay? Because we can't have people knowing the truth, okay? We can't have people knowing the truth in regards to what is actually going on in response to the shooting of Mr. Daunte Wright, who tragically lost his life, right, in a traffic stop. I've already talked about this. Now, in response to this, right, obviously the police chief of Brooklyn Center, the neighborhood in which he was killed, is going to talk about this incident, okay? And he's going to talk about all the things that were going on in response to this tragic incident, right? And he's going to keep it a whole buck. He's going to keep it 100, right? But apparently, to the media, keeping it 100 is just too much because it goes against the narrative. Take a listen.
One final question. What was your decision to issue a dispersal order while they were peacefully protesting in front of the police station? What led to you to issue a dispersal order, and then on the back end of that 10-minute dispersal order, then to issue out CO2 canisters and gas for the crowd?
So,
can you talk to us about that?
Just so everybody's clear, I was front and center at the protest, at the riot. We did not.
It was a riot. Don't do that.
There was no riot.
There was. So the officers that were putting themselves in harm's way were being pelted with frozen cans of pop. They were being pelted with concrete blocks. And yes, we had our helmets on and we had other protection gear, but an officer was injured, hit in the head with a brick. That was a Hennepin County deputy. He was transported to the hospital. So we had to make decisions. We had to disperse the crowd because we can't allow our officers to be harmed. And I've already answered the question, I believe, about your lighting. I know that's a big deal with you, and I understand that, but I thought I've explained that myself. So that is, I told you it's my decision, and that's why I made that decision. Is there another question? Yes, ma'am.
I mean, the room's tense. I can feel it.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't tell him the truth. Don't tell the truth. Don't tell the truth. Okay, don't do that. You gotta call it a peaceful protest. Even though your officer got hit in the head, it's a peaceful protest. Guys, you see it? This is why people can't trust the media, right? You really have so-called journalists and reporters sitting here trying to tell the police chief that what he experienced firsthand was a peaceful protest and not a riot. And shout out to him, right? Shout out to this police chief because he pushed back. He said, you know what? I'm going to call it what it is. It was a riot. I was there. One of my officers got hit in the head. Okay? And it's just funny how the media gets so upset about that because he's bucking the narrative, right? He's keeping it 100 about the response to this, which is 100% unjustified. Okay? He's keeping a whole buck. But they can't have that though. Oh no, those poor people, don't frame them in that way. Even though you have the damn mayor of the city showing up with a helmet on. If these are peaceful protests, why does the mayor of the city feel a need to wear a helmet? Oh yeah, maybe because police got hit in the head with rocks and got sent to the hospital. So yeah, obviously the mayor doesn't think it's peaceful, okay? That's what he really believes. He might tell you something different, but we know what he really believes. He's gonna go out there with a helmet on, okay? And this is how these politicians play games, right? They're okay with the media feeding you BS, but yet when it comes to protecting themselves, you know, all of a sudden they see what everybody else sees, right? And it's also funny because even the people that are involved in this protest, right? Even those people are sick and tired of the media's BS. Take a listen.
Look there. Now you can see. Now you can see.
Y'all be twisting up the story.
You want to talk to me? Do you want to talk to me? Okay, cool. No, don't take my mic, but we're cool. Okay. What's your name?
What's my name? My name is my name.
All right. So tell me what you think about what's going on here.
What I think about this is all the press and all the extra y'all do makes this worse.
You think so?
Yes. When people want to protest, they shouldn't do it in front of police. Courthouse. Shit like that. You get what the fuck I'm saying?
I want you to be careful. I want you to be careful. I really do.
Of what?
Of anything that can hit you. Of anything that can hit you. Look at all the stuff. Of this.
Of what?
Of this.
Do it look like I'm scared?
No, you don't.
Do it look like I'm scared?
You don't. You don't.
Exactly. Y'all need to get up out of here with all that twisting up the media ass shit.
Okay.
Real
You don't know me, but
I don't know you.
we're going to get to know each other. That's
You're
what we're
gonna
going
get
to
to
do.
know each other,
Yes,
huh?
we are.
Let's
we
see.
are. We are.
How you gonna know me?
We're going to talk. I'm going to share
Yeah,
a number
let's
with
go.
you. All right, let's do it.
No, let's do it right
Let's
here.
do it. All right, here's my phone. Let's
No,
go
you
ahead
got
and
the
share me
camera
a
out.
number.
Talk about something that's real.
Tell me what's
Y'all
real.
just gonna edit out the shit that
We're
y'all don't
live.
want,
We
and
are
then y'all
live.
gonna
Listen,
edit out some other.
We're live right
You're
now.
not fucking live.
I'm live right now.
I don't care if you live or not.
Okay, but
Get
we
away
can't
from
edit
here with
this.
all
This
that
is
media
live.
that
This
y'all
is live
doing.
right now.
Look,
We're with CNN.
then
We're
take
live.
that camera all the way the fuck up there.
We
Then
are going up there. That's
take it
where
all the
we're
way the
going.
fuck
You
up
stopped
there.
us.
Y'all doing all the extra shit for the backhand shit to make
Listen,
people look all crazier
We're
than what the
going
fuck they
there.
are.
All right, then you watch us because
Take
that's
y'all
where
ass
we're
up
going.
there.
All right, so everybody's got a hot head right now, as you might imagine, because it is.
Now, that was an awkward exchange, right? I'm sitting here thinking, this reporter, right? Is she trying to get this man her number on live TV? Like, what's the point of giving him your number, right? That was kind of awkward, right? But what the guy is saying, right, even though it's incoherent, even though it really doesn't make sense, I think what he's trying to say is that, again, the media is there to spin the narrative, okay? They're there to spin the narrative. And I'm not sure if he's aware it was CNN, right? They're going to spin the narrative in a way that's probably advantageous to what he wants, right? Is to make it seem like these people aren't crazy, even though they're out there doing crazy stuff. But, you know, on principle, he's right. The media is there to spin it, okay? And that's what they do every single time, right? And if you question the narrative, if you have a difference of opinion, then you can end up losing your job, right? Kind of like the city manager who lost his job because he just so happened to call for due process for the police officer that killed Daunte Wright. She said she did it accidentally. Obviously, it was reckless. And yeah, she's probably going to lose her job. But at the same time, the city manager called for due process. He said, let's investigate fully before making a decision, which I agree with, right? Everybody can see it on camera, but at the same time, everybody does deserve due process. I actually do agree with that. So let's read a little bit more here. The Brooklyn city manager, Curt Boganey, has been fired after he publicly disagreed with Mayor Mike Elliott's assertion that the police officer who fatally shot a black man in the Minneapolis suburb should immediately be fired. As city manager, Boganey controlled the police department. Speaking earlier to reporters, he said the officer who shot 20-year-old Daunte Wright would get due process after the shooting. All employees working for the city of Brooklyn Center are entitled to due process with respect to discipline, he said. But the mayor, unhappy at the public disagreement, quickly took the police department under his control, and the Brooklyn Center City Council voted to fire Boganey, a longtime city employee, during an emergency meeting. Effective immediately, our city manager has been relieved of his duties, and the deputy city manager will be assuming his duties moving forward, Elliott wrote on Twitter. I will continue to work my hardest to ensure good leadership at all levels of our city government. Mayor Elliott said city council had voted to give his office command authority over law enforcement. All right, so, you know, with that statement right there, I'm not too confident that the mayor of Brooklyn Center actually knows what he's doing, right? Because there was no reason to fire him because he said that an officer should get due process. Okay, you fired him because of the media backlash, because you're going to go with the media and say, well, she should be fired immediately, right? And I think most people agree that she probably should be fired, that she probably is not cut out to be a police officer considering the mistake that she made. But at the same time, again, I do think that people deserve due process, okay? And what he said was not wrong. She probably was going to end up getting fired regardless, okay? But at the same time, yeah, that should be an investigation. And once the conclusion of the investigation is done, then you do what you got to do. But this mayor has shown that he's going to cave to the narrative. He's going to cave to the media pressure, right? It's the same thing that happened with that guy, the officer that pepper sprayed the second lieutenant of the army, right? They claimed they was doing an investigation and he wasn't fired. And then all of a sudden the video goes viral, and then there's public pressure, public backlash. And then all of a sudden the man is fired, right? But to me, it just seems like this so-called leadership lets these, you know, people in these neighborhoods that are destroying their own neighborhoods run the place, right? They're letting them run the place. They're letting them tear up their cities. They're letting them riot. And then they having the media turn around and push the narrative that, oh no, it's peaceful, right? And it's almost like, you know, they're running the city. He's not running the city. And this is how you get incidents like this, right? Weak leadership that's willing to bend to the media narrative and that's willing to bend to those people that are destroying the neighborhoods rather than keeping it 100 like that police chief was and just calling it what it is. This is a riot. Y'all need to go home. You don't need to be out here. We're going to handle this situation. Justice will be served and we're going to go from there. But what happens is that they let these people basically run the city. And then what happens is people start to get hurt. And then you start to have more incidents where you have police being involved in shootings that is going to lead to more people losing their lives. Because we have weak leadership, right? Weak leadership. You're letting these idealistic people run the government, right? They're not living in the real world, okay? People like Rashida Tlaib, who went on Twitter basically calling for no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed, she says, because policing in this country is inherently and intentionally racist. She said that it wasn't an accident, right? These are idealistic people who have no clue what is going on, right? And these are people who should not be running our country. They should not be running our cities because they cave to the media. They cave to the progressive narrative. And again, if she was running this city or this country and she had it her way, there would be no police, right? And you would have stuff like this going on all the time, okay? So, you know, there's a lot going on here with Brooklyn Center in that neighborhood. And, hey, you know, we'll see how this goes moving forward. But, you know, the media spin on this, the narrative spin on this is just, it's the same playbook that it was all 2020, right? They're going to let these people get away with rioting, looting, and protesting and act like it's peaceful and then complain when people don't trust them anymore. That's what's about to happen. And honestly, the media has earned all the distrust that they get. Because there's no honest media anymore. They just spin a narrative because they don't want to be called racist. That's what it is. Everybody's afraid of being called racist instead of keeping it 100. Okay? Because the media calling it like it is ultimately is going to help people keep their lives, right? And them trying to make it a fairy tale situation is what's going to lead people losing their lives. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.